Thompson gang. Alright, so we got a new video we doing. Go ahead and introduce what we got here for today.
So we're going to be going over 7 plant-based films of all time. So these films, y'all need to go ahead and watch them so y'all can get hooked on to knowing what's out here and what's going on with the food that you eat. So let's get to it.
Let's get into it. So go ahead and play.
Number 7, guys.
Vegeta.
Say you are what you eat.
I love kosher hot dogs with all the trimmings.
Philly cheesesteak.
And these 3 people are about to find out who they are.
New Yorkers love pizza and Philly cheesesteak.
And what they're made of.
Number 6.
So here's number 6. I gotta watch. I'm gonna watch all of them.
Conspiracy.
Be any concern of us making this documentary?
Of course. If you don't realize right now that you're putting your neck on the chopping block, you know, you better take that camera and throw it away. Fuck.
This came out in 2014 and I haven't seen it yet.
It's an environmental disaster that's being ignored by the very people who should be championing.
Let's look at the fundamental problem here.
No one wants to talk about it. Because they're membership organizations, you know, a lot of them. They're looking to maximize the number of people making contributions.
The leading cause of environmental degradation is...
We need to address that as well.
It's not up to the Department of Water Resources.
Hard to actually target like one thing.
I don't necessarily know what it is.
There's suppression and mismanagement of information everywhere it abounds.
It starts at the local level, but then it goes all the way to Congress.
When you consider the devastation it's having on our planet as well as the oceans.
And we're in the middle of the largest mass extinction of species in 65 million years.
And they can dictate the federal policies because they have so much political power.
And one of the largest industries on the planet with the biggest environmental impact, trying to keep us in the dark about how it's operating.
That's the one thing no one talks about. Everybody goes around that.
Unfortunately, we are no longer able to fund your film project. We had a meeting, and due to the growing controversial subject matter, we have some concerns and have to pull out.
You're going up against people that have massive legal resources, and you have nothing.
A lot of people just keep their mouth shut because they don't want to be the next one with the bullet to their head.
I don't know that I would want to comment on that.
www. They had a website.
Conspiracy.com. Number 5, y'all. Plant Pure Nation.
Do you have any health meals? Anything that's fresh?
No, we don't.
The culture in America
No, we don't.
Everything revolves around food and unhealthy food.
The healthcare cost trajectory is out of control because the consumers are not in charge.
This is clearly an unsustainable trend.
We're not telling people how to use food.
Red meat,
Beef.
green beans with bacon, and...
Not telling people how to use
When
food.
we talk about this idea
They eating all kind of animals.
plant-based
Right?
nutrition, it's a powerful concept, and it's one that my father is associated with.
Dr. Colin Campbell died.
Whole Foods plant-based diet.
I like him.
You don't mean the store.
You know, I went on
Be good.
essentially a plant-based diet. No dairy, no meat. Type 2 diabetes, heart disease, hypertension. Gone.
Physicians don't know how to prescribe a diet. We've been taught how to write prescriptions.
Right now, this information isn't available to them. So how can they make a decision?
We're working our way into the political process here.
The absence of meat as part of your diet is not the best direction for all Kentuckians.
You got to realize that there's a lot of big money interest.
But the amendment
Kentucky
itself,
Fried Chicken ain't want to get in that plant-based diet.
We're trying to demonstrate this concept in this community.
We offered 10 days of food.
I've been testing for 26
10
years,
days of
and I've
food.
never seen results like this.
Mr. Speaker, I call for a vote.
The folks that are challenging this, they represent big business.
Well, the truth is a stubborn thing, and it doesn't go away.
Right. The truth is a stubborn thing that doesn't go away.
Explore scientific evidence.
In any movement, the first step is always the hardest.
Your total cholesterol is 150. Yep.
When people learn about this, the very next question they have, why haven't I heard this before?
Correct.
Why? Because revolutions can't start without awareness. Back when I started in this, there were 3 farmers markets, now there's about 26.
The amount of money that we spend to create the kind of health situation we have, it's not working.
This is going to be a lifestyle.
Our
That's
thesis
amazing.
is that we've got to change this world from the bottom up.
Plant Pure Nation!
Number 4. Eating you alive.
You can see what the person is eating by looking at the plaque in their arteries.
So many of my family members ended up dying of heart disease and cancer.
We cut people open, we bypass their clogged arteries, we tell them they were cured, and more often than not, they would go home and do all the things that had caused the problem in the first place.
I believe our body was made a certain way to run on a certain fuel, and we have been putting the wrong fuel in our body.
We become addicted to it, and the addiction that occurs is very similar to the addiction that occurs with nicotine.
I had the perception that I was a victim, that it was in my genes. I had a stroke, I had to live with that. I was diabetic, I had to live with that. And I had a basket of pills, I had to live with that.
People that are eating the standard American diet don't understand the scientific implications of that in their body.
A lot of the illnesses that I was treating were being brought on by lifestyle, in particular dietary habits.
In medical school, there was very little training in nutrition.
Our doctors are not getting this in medical school. And if they're not, then you're not getting it.
There has to be a paradigm shift in our medical education.
Foods are the cause of diabetes, of heart disease, of many forms of cancer, of hypertension. And if they're the cause, they can also be the solution.
We look at it for a couple of years and see patients that I knew should be dead by my conventional training, alive and well, tumors melting away or totally gone.
The doctor called me at home and he says, hey, I just got your blood work back from the lab and I was reviewing your results and you're no longer diabetic.
And the fruits and the whole grains and the beans, those foods have power that you never imagined. It's time to put it to work.
Forks over knives.
This could be the first generation of children in the United States that lives less than its parents.
Oh.
I got 2 pills I take for my diabetes, then I got 1 for cholesterol, high blood pressure, and then I take Vegeta, which is an injectable.
I'm getting really shaky and I'm sick and I'm fatigued, and that's when they diagnosed me with hypertension and diabetes.
Obesity, diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure costs this country more than $120 billion each year.
Wow. People are saying, you're crazy. You're a cancer patient. You should be resting. Doctors told me this. When I had the second heart attack, the doctor said I should prepare for death.
Oh, wow.
Heart disease is an absolutely toothless paper tiger that need never, ever exist.
People who were raised in Japan, the Philippines, Korea, China, never had heart disease, prostate cancer, colon cancer, breast cancer, rheumatoid arthritis, multiple sclerosis.
This is the atlas of cancer mortality in China.
Virtually the Western diet was non-existent. They had no animal products. They had no dairy, no meat.
We learned that we could turn on and turn off cancer growth just by adjusting the level of intake of that protein.
I knew at that point what caused most diseases.
Our national authorities are simply excluding this concept in order to protect the status quo.
With the Western diet, there are going to be 500,000 people in this country this year who will have to have the front half of their body divided, their heart exposed. Some people would call that extreme.
I know of nothing else in medicine that can come close to what a plant-based diet can do.
If you go through life thinking that what happens to you from a health perspective is based on your genes, you're a helpless victim.
I reversed the diabetes. The diabetes is not coming back.
I just can't understand what it's done to change my life.
Diet is so much more important than anybody
like
ever
me.
thought.
To me, the answer is so simple, it's criminal. It's just people starting to take responsibility for their health and starting to eat more plant-based foods. It's that simple.
What the hell? This is what we watch, right?
Diabetes, the arthritis, the heart disease, the dementia, the obesity, the cancers are affecting about 70% of deaths.
We have an epidemic cascade of debilitating disease that's overcoming the country.
18% of children are morbidly obese right now. We're on par to have 1 in 3 people be diabetic in the next 25 years. That's crazy statistics.
Have this very dangerous situation.
Large amounts of these substances have unquestionably been associated with clogged arteries, high blood pressure, diabetes, autoimmune diseases. Absolutely, the scientists sell it.
We're talking life and disease.
Health organizations have become co-opted. They are taking money from the very industries who are causing the problems.
There's a very strong pharmaceutical industry and lobby that has a huge stake in preserving the status quo.
We've got a $35 billion statin drug industry. Do they ever want to see that go away?
The government's in bed with anyone that gives them the most money.
These are government programs.
Consumers have no idea.
We consider it normal that a town the size of the town I grew up in gets wiped out every year. If that many people were being killed by some terrorist group in the United States every year, we would find them.
From a community standpoint, from all other aspects, we're in a state of emergency.
They care more about cooperation than do people.
They spend at least $138 million lobbying Congress.
These companies really have a vested interest in making sure that the public doesn't have information about their effects.
Any little thing that comes up, man, they beat it to death.
They're trying to silence people from not speaking out and not showing the truth. If that's where you want to go with this, I'm sorry, I'm not the person that you should be talking to.
The European
We're
Association of Society.
We're done here. The game changers.
One and only Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I ate a lot of meat. They showed us commercials. Steak. That's what a man eats. Selling that idea that real men eat meat. Serious man food. But you got to understand, that's marketing. That's not based on reality.
I've been teaching fighting techniques to government agencies for more than 15 years. Then I got injured. Unable to teach for at least 6 months. I spent more than 1,000 hours studying science on recovery and nutrition, and stumbled across a study about the Roman gladiators.
The gladiators were predominantly vegetarian.
How could the original professional fighters be so powerful, eating only plants?
When I made the switch to a plant-based diet, I qualified for my 3rd Olympic team. I broke 2 American records. I was like, man, I should have done this a long while ago.
When I went plant-based, I wasn't sure if I was going to survive. And I actually became like a machine.
One of the biggest misconceptions in sports nutrition is that we have to have animal protein to perform at a high level. That's just not true.
Sometimes you have to do things that you know your competitors aren't doing.
Today's blood and yesterday's blood.
Them. I think this is going to wake a lot of people up.
I was recovering better, not getting as sore. This was our best season in the last 15 years, and we had 14 guys on plant-based diets.
We all want to feel great, have more energy.
Cholesterol was 276. Today, 169.
Whoa, now you're talking.
Most guys my age can keep up with the grandchildren. My grandchildren can't keep up with me.
It's not one set of dietary guidelines for improving your performance as an athlete, another one for reversing heart disease, reversing diabetes. It's the same for all of them.
Someone asked me, how could you get as strong as an ox without eating any meat? And my answer was, have you ever seen an ox eating meat?
I gotta check this out. Alright, so guys, those 7, it was great. I gotta see a couple of them. What you thought about it, babe?
It was amazing. I wanted to see all of them because it's like news that I didn't even know was out there. Now I saw What the Health, but I actually want to see the Game Changers first because these are athletes and they're on actual plant-based diets. So what you thinking?
Right, I'm thinking, wow, seeing how people are transitioning to a plant-based diet, it's growing and growing and growing. So I'm glad we on that side of the change where we're proactive.
Yeah, we're getting healthier. You know, so we won't have to deal with these health issues that's going on. So that's good.
So all right, Thompson gang. Thank y'all for watching. Make sure you share this video so everybody, to your family members and everything, and we'll see you on the next one.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.